energy over the whole body. The whole body is filled with divine energy. In this peaceful state of mind, we'll do auto suggestions and blessings. By the grace of divine power, we all may enjoy good health, long life, enough wealth, wisdom, and peace. By the grace of divine power, we all may enjoy good health, long life, enough wealth, wisdom, and peace. By the grace of divine power, we all may enjoy good health, long life, enough wealth, wisdom, and peace. Blessings, bless your life partner. Bless your children. Bless your brothers and sisters. Bless close relatives and important friends. Bless people connected with your duties. Bless your enemies or miscreants, if any, with kindness, so that they also change and lead a good life. Let us bless the Vethathirian principles for world peace, called Vethathriyam. Be blessed by the divine. Let us bless the World Community Service Center. Be blessed by the divine. Let us bless the Temple of Consciousness at Aliyar. Be blessed by the divine. Let us bless all the meditation centers around the world. Be blessed by the divine. Let us bless all the participants and their families. Be blessed by the divine. Let us take the twofold moral oath. I, in my lifetime, will not give pain to others, physically or mentally. To the extent possible, I will remove the pain of others. I, in my lifetime, will not give pain to others, physically or mentally. To the extent possible, I will remove the pain of others. I, in my lifetime, will not give pain to others, physically or mentally. To the extent possible, I will remove the pain of others. Let us bless the whole world. Rain may pour on all parts of the world timely and sufficiently. Food grains may grow abundantly to the satisfaction of all living beings. Leaders of all nations may grow spiritually and do good service to humanity. May the whole world enjoy prosperity, happiness, and peace. May there be peace within us. May there be peace around us. May there be peace in the whole world. Peace, peace, peace. We are concluding the meditation. Gently rub your palms and fingers. Pass the energy over the face. Raise your hands. Take a deep breath. Exhaling, bring your hands down. Good evening or good morning, friends. Once again, a warm welcome to this online daily meditation in English by Digital Solutions. As we all know that Saturday is a special day because on that day, apart from the usual meditation, etc., we also invite a persons very closely associated with Vethathiri Maharishi's principles and practices, and we request him to share his thoughts. And today, we have with us a very senior person, young but senior. Okay. He is Karthik Kaveriselvan. He is born in Paramakudi. As you all know, Paramakudi is known for temple festivals. And maybe with that beginning, and then his grandfather also, putting him in Vethathriyam right from the 10th class. Okay. So that way is gifted by both by ancestry and by the place of life. And then he goes to Anna University, does his degree, and then BITS Pilani, postgraduate, and MBA in New York University. So the last 20 years he is there. He and his wife totally dedicated to this, apart from the regular work. And they've opened 2 centers in USA, now in Albany and earlier another center. So in their own house, so they're running a center. And he has been conducting courses in vision. I think, yeah, he's a director in, apart from that, he's a director in computers, that field. So in that way, today we are all fortunate, and the topic is also very nice. The mind, most difficult thing, isn't it? Is it our enemy or friend? Is it our boss or subordinate? We don't know. Now, Karthik is going to tell us about that. Thank you, Karthik, for joining. Be blessed by God.
வாழ்க வளமுடன் ஐயா, வாழ்க வளமுடன் to everybody. Be blessed by the divine. It is such a pleasure to address in front of this beautiful, wonderful audience. I'm sure you have seen many professors, many aspirants, and many eminent persons come share this stage with you all. I think it's I'm humbled by the invitation by WCSC. And thank you very much for all the professors who are conducting this wonderful program every week. Right. Now, today we're going to think a little bit about mind. None of the topic that we're going to discuss here is new, as most of you have known about this topic from various sources. And the reason why it's not new, even for new aspirants, is because it's your own mind. That's the only thing that has been with you for so long, since your birth. So the first question that we all should ask, and I would like to pick your brain a little bit with this question, next question. And to answer this one, you need to answer several questions to reach there. Let me share my screen. Can you all see it?
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah. So the very first thing that we all has to ponder about is, how much do we know about our mind? So what is that, this philosophy, the concept that everybody is wondering about, but we have been having it all along. So what's so unique about it? To understand this concept a little bit, let's look at these images. What do you see here? Different colors of balls, right? So there is a light orange ball, a light blue ball, and a light yellow ball. That's what we all think. But in fact, all these balls are of same color. Our mind perceives it in different color based on some mysterious things. We will discuss about it. One more puzzle for you. You see in this particular image, the square where the letter A is written and the square where the letter B is written is of same color. Can you believe it? Well, your mind makes it look different because of the mystery substance. Another example to you. These 2 tables you see on the left is of same size by the surface area. But our mind obviously perceives it in a different way. And finally, even more intriguing, this is a static image, just a 2D static image, but our mind interprets that as a moving object. Isn't it wonderful? So now think about it. This mind this mystery person, this mystery entity who we know almost nothing about, is what we are trying to tame, what we are trying to control. Now, isn't the first question, is your mind, your master of seven, makes more sense to contemplate about? Just hold on to that thought. Now we'll switch.
Karthik is very interesting. Can you increase your volume a bit? Yeah,
Sure.
that's it. Great.
Yeah, I'll come closer. Excellent. So now in order to understand the mind, there are several scientific approaches and several professors, neurosurgeons, philosophers have put so much thought into it. There's so much article about it. But what I like about Vethathiri Maharishi is what the S stands for in Sky, simplified. Like Einstein once said, if you can't explain a complicated concept simply, it means that you have not understood the concept enough. So we will take a humble attempt in explaining this highly complex concept of mind. And for that, I've tried to use a tool which is called mind map. So the mind map is a tool where it's a very simple representation of how to articulate a particular concept. So I hope you all now see my mind map.
Yes.
Great. Thank you, Master. So you see, in order to understand mind, we should start from understanding you, because it is a conversation, or it is a kind of a dialogue between you and the mind, right? So in order to do that, first let's start from understanding you. So what is you? Is it your mind, your body, or your soul? There are so many things that we talk about to know what constitutes you. Maharishi puts it very simply, very simply. That is life force. We can even go beyond life force, but we'll save the topic for another time. So let's start with life force. Life force is very infinitesimally fundamental energy particle that revolves around your body, or it revolves around certain space. And this revolution and rotation causes friction against the nearby bodies, and that emanates biomagnetic waves. Very simple. So anything that rotates or revolves has to have a center, which is in human form or in living forms, it's a genetic center. And the genetic center has some memory to it. That memory is nothing but imprints. All this is non-comprehensible by the modern physics or modern science yet. But then all this evolved into being a human body. And then the human body consists of sensing organs, and then brain. And finally, is this mystery person, mind, comes into play. So mind is nothing but you, a part of you. When the biomagnetism is emanated to the sensing organs, it becomes your sensory perception. When the biomagnetism emanates to your brain, it becomes your mind. Very simple. Now you know clearly what's you and what's mind. Now let's move on. When we talked about, or when we saw those optical or visual illusions, I was saying that there is a mystery component that perceives it in a different way. The colorless ball or the same color ball is perceived to be different color balls because of that mystery component. That mystery component is nothing but your imprints. So by evolutionary principles, by evolution, your senses started to get arranged in a certain way, and they were creating imprints. Where is it creating an imprint? In your genetic center. So the genetic center, the imprints has happened, and whenever these evolution grows, these imprints gets accumulated over thousands and thousands of years and make you what you are today. And that perception is what is driven or driving you to perceive anything you see, anything you hear. And I let it sink for a certain time. Now, we talked about imprints. So what are those imprints? So we talk about imprints. So I've never seen these different color balls in my life. I've never seen a 2D image moving all the time. Then how do I know? You think it is in me? You think you are saying that it's an imprint, but where are these imprints coming from? It comes from two different sources. One is your heredity, your inheritance. Just like you inherit your properties, you are inheriting the imprints as well. To your parents, and their parents. It goes on to the Neanderthal man. Before Neanderthal man, a different species of apes. And even before that, the 5 senses being 4 senses, 3 senses, 2 senses, single sense. And then it dissolves into the life force itself. So all these imprints, all these lives, the experience that they have gained is all put together and given to you as a form of deed, as a form of gift. That's called Sanchita Karma. And then, right since the birth, we have been doing a lot of things. We learn a lot of things. How do we know how to read a language? As simple as that. How do we know how to speak English now? As simple as that. All these imprints, all this experience that you have gained since our birth is nothing but prapta karma created by our own karma. With these two karmas, with these two imprints, we start to produce more imprints, which means we start to learn. Now that you have seen these illusions, next time you see this illusion, you will not wonder. You already know that those balls are of same color. How do you know that? Because your prapta karma, the moment that happened just a few minutes back that you've already seen, is imprinted in your genetic center, and that imprint comes back at a later stage. So at that point, you won't be surprised. Your perception will be different. Your takeaway would be different. And you may be curious to explain how this works to somebody else instead of being astonished by looking at what is going on. So that's how these two imprints happen. And your Akamiya karma is determined by these two karma, Sanchita karma and Prapta karma. So far, we talked about just the imprints. We have not come to the mind yet. So this is how the imprints work, and this is all stored in your genetic center. These three put together is what's called your soul. So that's you. That's your living copy of you. Right? Now let's get into our knowing more of our friend, mind. So this imprints, what does a mind do? Right? We know what is mind. What is it made of? Simply but biomagnetic energy. The biomagnetic waves expressed through brain becomes mind. So we know what it is. So now, what does it do? In order to understand anything, in order to control or in order to manipulate or in order to be better at communicating with somebody, you need to know what they do, right? So in order for us to understand mind, we should first know what they do. What does it do? So mind does two simple functions. That's it. There's no complication about it. There's no doubt about it. Very simple. Mind compresses anything and everything that our 5 senses or sensory perceptions perceive and compresses it, saves it as an imprint. Very simple. Now, the second important function is it expands the same imprints. That's about it. That's all it does. Compresses, expands. And what happens when it expands? It turns into thoughts. And once the thought arises, what happens? It turns into words. And the words turns into deeds and actions. As simple as this. So any action you perform, what happens? Either you'll be happy about it, or there'll be some sort of unhappiness about it, or you feel peaceful about it, or you will feel ecstatic about it. These are the four outcomes. Now, this point is the most critical piece to understand more about mind. All these experiences again goes back and gets compressed and gets saved in genetic center. Think about it. Think about the beauty of it. This continuous cycle happens at an extraordinary, unimaginable speed. And consistently, every word you speak, every action you do, everything you see, even the tiniest minute particle or the pressure you sense, continuously giving feedback, it gets compressed, gets stored in genetic center, and then it gets expanded. So every moment you live, this cycle goes like multiple times. Now we talk about cycle. So how fast the cycle operate? Don't we have to know? That pace of this cycle is what determines what state of mind are you in. The mind operates in 4 different states. So the cycle that we talk about, it gets imprints, it goes back, it gets imprints, it goes back. So this cycle, scientists and philosophers have segregated into 4 main categories. First is the beta wave, the beta category. In an emotional state, the cycle imprints, compress, expands, compress, imprint, expand, compress, imprint, expand. This cycle goes 14 to 40 times within a second. In that state is where you are in emotional state. When these imprints are made, they're made at a particular frequency because they have to operate at this level, right? So the same thing imprint happens and over again, but it always gets registered at a particular frequency. Whenever you lower your thoughts, whenever you are at peace, the cycle gets reduced. And that cycle or the phase is called the alpha phase. And that wave or the frequency that it generates, that it operates, is between 13.8. The next is even more higher, calmer, peaceful state. In that state, you are expanding yourself and thinking more about the universe. Your cycle even gets lower between 4 to 7. And finally, when you dissolve yourself, when you are in the state of ecstasy, your cycle even reduces between 1 to 3. Right? So the more the cycle, the more the imprint. So you have to come across that imprint state every time. So what happens is the more you cycle, the more imprints it gets created. The more imprints it gets created, the more complex it is for us to uncover and understand yourself in the future. So keep remembering this circle, and we will switch to what philosophers talk about more sense, right? They talk about the koshas, what the state of mind is, the functioning stages. Scientifically, we explain about those 4 different categories, alpha, beta, theta, and delta. But now, let's talk more on the philosophical side of it. The mind is always been in one of these 4 states. This Anandmaya kosha, where you fulfill all your thoughts, all your intentions, all your thoughts, words, and deeds are towards satisfying one of the 5 senses. You operate at that level, operate between 14 to 40 to fulfill the senses. That's what's called Anandmaya kosha. Now, there is no need, there is no sensual senses, but you still habitually do it. What all do we habitually do it? You can keep on mentioning many things. Some people like to play. Some people like to have more screen time. Some people like to sleep. Some people like to go jogging. Some people like to read. they continuously do it because of their habit. Some people used to decide, some people used to get angry, some people used to worry. They might not need any reason for that, but they do it because of their habitual behaviors. And in that state, the mind is operating in Manomaya Kosha. Very simple. Now is when these two things are still between 14 to 40 that you don't have much control about. It just goes on its own pace. But the moment you think that I need to do something about it, I need to know what is going on, your mind slows down. You slows down and you suddenly come into this stage called pranamaya kosa, and where you start to think about yourself. Okay, now you start to think about yourself. You know very well, right? You can't think about yourself without wondering about the relationship between the higher consciousness or the cosmic. And that stage you thought more towards how am I related to this universe, and your mind expands. Think about it. You have to first shrink to focus on yourself, and then you expand, focus on the universe. And finally, you said, enough is enough. I've known, I've seen what this is about, and ultimately, I want to realize the truth. What do? Your thought process completely stops, and you get into this Anandamaya Kosha where you feel ecstasy. Now, these are the different stages of mind, right? So now we have talked a lot about operating range, your functions and functioning stages. Now, let's also touch a little bit on when you are in a conscious state, right? When we are in a conscious state, how does our mind make this imprint, right? So now we talked about this particular circle of compress, imprint, and expand, right? Now, when the expansion happens, right, we are just now taking one single line, just this single line of expansion, and we're going to dive deep into how this expansion happens. The expansion happens starting with some sort of a sensation. Could be any sensation. It could be hunger, it could be sleep, it could be a drive to see something, it could be drive to go and meet your friends, it could be picking up a phone and talking to your parents, it could be anything. But it starts with a sensation. The sensation classifies into a particular need. It translates into a need. And the translation of a need goes into zeal. Zeal is something that the willingness to act. So you are pushed, you are thrived to act on something. And that thrive pushes you to do something. That's action. Any action you do, that should be a result. You move a thing from one place to another, the object is moved, it's a result. And based on that result, you determine there should be some sort of an enjoyment. An enjoyment, don't take it as an synonymous to pleasure. It's an enjoyment, which means that you're taking something into yourself, you're absorbing it, you are making certain inference and perception. And then that perception goes into experience. And this experience, your mind segregates, analyzes, categorizes it, and does some research on that. And finally, it says that, okay, this is what this is about. It realizes that something, in terms of the ball example, it realizes that this color is a different color based on its experience, and there's a continuous feedback. And it concludes that these balls are two different colors and makes an imprint. So the next time you see that, with this information, your experience differs and say that, no, these are not two different colored balls. These are same colored balls. It makes a new conclusion and it makes a new imprint on top of the old imprint. And that's how this mind expands and imprints. And the cycle changes, the pace of the cycle changes. The moment that mind stops in each of these stages changes based on your experience. And all this happens in a scale of a nanosecond or even minute than that. But the mind obviously does all these stages. So how do I understand this whole thing of, each stages? When you lower your frequency, you can start understanding, okay, I'm at this sensation stage, I'm in this need state, I'm in the zeal state, I'm in the action state. So your time slows down. Now, you understand the stages of mind now? This is all in your conscious state, like what we are doing now. You're consciously listening to this video. Now, what happens in your subconscious state when you say, some people might be listening to this while they're driving? You're still driving. So how do you drive? You manage to press your accelerator, brake, and clutch and gear. How is that happening? That's happening through your subconscious mind. You've been trained to do that. Your mind knows it subconsciously to stop in front of a certain car because that imprint is already there. The mind acts as subconscious and in a subconscious state to provide you what you need to continue. And then there's a superconscious mind. Superconscious mind is something that gets imprinted in the genetic center. When it operates at a very low frequency, it gets into this, it puts in a hat of a superconscious mind where you have connections to everything. You operate in Jnanamaya Kosha, you operate in the Anantamaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, and you start to tap into various different things that has been in your imprint for so many long, and the connections you make with other bodies. So all this are the state of functions of mind. So some other functions are also there. Why do you sleep? Why do you dream? And why do you prediction? We'll save that for future. Unless you have any certain questions, we can come back to that. But now the topic at hand is very simple, right? Is your mind your servant or your master? To answer that question, let's get back to the deck. Right. To answer that question, we need to also understand why is it very difficult to change something?
When participants believe in silence, they are in a totally different state of mind.
I think he is froze. Yeah.
Yeah, I cannot hear as well.
No, I think he froze. Yeah, can you just connect it?
Can you all hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, we
Yes,
can hear you.
yes.
Okay, good.
We lost you for some time. Yeah.
Okay.
We
I'm
lost you when you asked that question. Why
okay.
That's a good one.
All right. So,
Yeah.
it is quite common to lose somebody when they ask a question. So
When you ask why is it so difficult to change, that's where we lost you.
well, we'll pick it right from there. Or we all laugh in that question for ages. So let's answer to that question. Why is it so difficult to change? Right? Why is it to even determine whether our mind is our master or our servant? I'll put it in a very simple perspective. Say, this is you, this is your soul, this is your life, this is you, composed of all those 8 different components. This little cart is your genetic center, and all those balls in there are your imprints. Right? So you want to go from aisle A to aisle B in a supermarket. Right? You are navigating through it. It's normal, or it will be okay to push this cart if there are only certain number of imprints. But if the imprints gets bigger and bigger, it will be extremely hard for you to push or change course. That's exactly what is happening. to put it in a different perspective, it's a small stream of water, and this is where your thoughts, your mind flows. But changing the course of the small stream is very easy. You can just put a small piece of brick or a piece of rock and divert the stream. The stream will change its course. But imagine building or recoursing or changing the course of this wild river. It's not as simple as you change the course of a stream. So what it means is you need to slow down and put more thought of what is going on. And okay, it's all very, very easily said and done, Karthik, but how are you going to change it? We know the reason. We started with the question. We went to the intricate working details of mind at a very high level, in a simplified level. Then we know why it is difficult. Okay, now what is the answer? And before we know the answer, we have to answer the first one. Your mind is your master or servant. It is determined. It is determined based on how you control this flow, this cycle. So the cycle of you performing this compression and expansion and your will to stop at each of the step and change course determines your mind is your master or servant. If you have no control at all, the imprints happens automatically. Your mind expands in the way that it wants, or in the way the frequency that the external factors are dictating it. It just determines, it just glows with the flow of being pleasure, pain, or peace. You won't get to the level of ecstasy at all, even for peace for that matter. So if it's a pleasure or pain, it just flows its own course. It takes its own imprint, goes to this vicious circle. As long as you don't control this cycle, you are a slave of your mind. If you control, say for example, you are in a situation where people are around you, or in some kind of a distressed situation. Now you have a choice. The point is, first, knowing that you have a choice itself is a development. That's, you're stopping yourself here. You're thinking, okay, I need to act. There is some distress going on. Should I just respond back to it and join the distress, or analyze the root cause of it? Can I avoid it? This comprehension at a controlled pace puts you in charge. So that is your cue. Slowing down this pace, understanding, stopping, and thinking at each step of this happening puts you in control. When you know how to gain control on this function, on this cycle, you become the master. All right. Now, even the bigger question comes, how do I do that? Right. So it's all beautiful. Okay. It is very easily said. But how is it done? Now, in order to do that, first and foremost thing, Maharishi has explained, given so many things to do. But for new aspirants, the first thing that we all must be doing is to gain control of our mind is silence. It's absolutely key, and that's the only key to this magic world of wisdom and peace. Observe, observe, observe. If you try to tame this beast called mind, it will never be tamed. But observe the flow. You don't have to control it in the beginning. You don't have to change the course in the beginning. Just observe, just be in silence. By being in silence itself, that you're calming down your five senses, your biomagnetism spent on the five senses is diverted to mind, and the mind is reflecting upon itself. Okay, now I have silence. Say, I think I know how to maintain silence, keeping simply sitting, doing nothing, observing your mind. What happens? You have clarity. You clearly know what state your mind is. All right, my friend mind, don't go there. My friend mind, what are you doing now? My friend mind, you think you're hungry, but are you really? You're passing yourself in every state. You don't know which state the mind takes you. It could be always here. You're stopping it before you do something. Could be sensation, you classify it as a need. You think that the zeal is where you act. I don't want to act on something. So you are stopping the flow and you have the clarity that you are at this stage. First, you need to have this clarity at this stage. Okay, which stage am I in? So you have a clarity, and the clarity only comes with silence. Now you have the clarity, then what you do? Courage. Absolutely important. You need to have the courage to do something, most importantly, not to do something. These three key tools that Maharishi has clarified to us, Maharishi has taught us how with these three tools, you can easily tame your mind, gain control of your life, and lead the life where you feel happy about and you feel proud about. So with this note, I conclude my presentation, and I would love to hear your thoughts and hear your experience, and be happy to answer any questions. Be blessed by the divine.
Thank you so much, Karthik sir. That was a very lovely presentation. Really enjoyed your speech on mind. Now, I'm sure there are a lot of questions here. We welcome each one of you to bombard Karthik sir with all the possible questions you should ask, because this is really a very tough topic. He has taken it and he has beautifully presented. And in a very nutshell, within half an hour, 30 minutes, he's been able to convey what Vethathiri Maharishi has given in a very big chapter. It's a very big chapter. Mind itself, it's not so easy to give it in 30 minutes. So thank you so much. வாழ்க வளமுடன், be blessed by the divine. So we have Suresh Paulraj would like to ask you. I'm going to unmute Suresh Paulraj, sir. Yes, you are unmuted.
Can you all hear me now?
Yeah. Yes, we can.
Karthik sir beautifully explained all the concepts, how they are connected together to get to where we want to. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. How to change? I was thinking the silence, clarity, and then there was one more that you mentioned. So courage, yes. So I was thinking, maybe I think you covered there. The introspection is a method, right? Taking a step back, analyzing what is happening in this mind, and addressing those thoughts, worries. I thought that is a way to help to do the change, but I think it's all covered through those three concepts as well. Thank you so much.
வாழ்க வளமுடன் ஐயா. To answer is in what are thoughts, right? So when we talk about anger, moralization of desire, and worry, those are all variations of thoughts. So the moment we start to understand the thoughts, you will start understanding why the anger occurs. So if you're in introspection, the most important lesson of introspection is analysis of thought. And that's why Maharishi has kept that as the chapter number 1, that you need to understand thought. And when you know what type of thought it is, then you will start performing what type of introspection it is. So the introspection falls under the clarity part of it. And the introspection falls, the first part of the introspection falls, any type of introspection you do, pause first in clarity, obtaining clarity, and second, gathering courage to act on the clarity. Very, very well said. Introspection is the key, and it is embedded into these 3 steps of silence, clarity, and courage.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. So here I would like to tell all the participants who are here, this Saturday special lecture we started it only mainly for the foundation course participants, beginners. So today the topic has been little more in depth. So I would like, if each one of you, if you have attended the foundation course, or if you have, you can register for the certificate course that is available online. So I would welcome more questions from other participants. Then I am going to give you all a few announcements that you can attend foundation course, certificate course, and other things. So, but I would like more people to come forward to ask Karthik sir more questions. I'm sure we still yet to know what is more. And we have to ask him, it's not so easy that he can just get away with a half an hour, 30 minutes he's talking about mind. So we should ask him more. Yeah, thank you so much, Sumaya. Yes, Sumaya, I'm going to unmute you. You can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm sorry, my hand raised thing, I don't see it. I just updated. So that's why I didn't raise my hand. Thank you so much, Professor Karthik, for this great presentation. I think you really did a great job of simply stating this. I wanted to circle back to why it's so hard to change and ask you, you put up like the 2 shopping carts, one holding a lot and one having just some. So like, let's say you have a habit that you've had for 20 years, it's a bad habit, and you want to change it. Practically speaking, what would your advice be? How would you approach, okay, I want to stop this habit? How would you approach changing that habit? Because I understand the imprints, right? Like you talked about, now you have, let's say the habit is 20 years old, you have 20 years worth of imprints in doing this thing that you now want to change.
Absolutely. Wonderful, wonderful question. It is a beautiful question. And it is understanding how heavy is your cart is the step number 1, right? And why does the cart keeps getting heavier? Let's say you decide, giving an example, let's say we all decide to go to gym, but you decide to postpone it for 1 more day, right? Your master servant concept comes into play. So now the mind, currently being mastered, has been tamed to be a servant, and you gave an order, mind, let's go to gym tomorrow morning. Okay, the mind says, okay, I will oblige to you, but then you decide, let's postpone it for 1 more day for some reason, and you're adding another ball to the cart, which gets even more heavier. So where you take this action, right? How to change courses exactly between these 2 parts, between need and zeal. Between need and zeal, zeal is the will to act, right? The will to act will come, but then taking action, between zeal and action is where the silence comes into play. You say, okay, I have so much urge not to get up and go to gym, but let me just slide it. Let me just slide that thought. Let me just get 1 more step up. Or it would even be more relatable when you have a bad experience or a bad habit for so long. You think you have an urge to do something really bad, which you have been habitually to do so. But then you said, let me just not do this for 1 time. Watch between your zeal and action. Put a silence, put a barrier between your zeal and action, and start observing your mind. Your mind will try to convince you. It will tell, oh, that's beautiful. You should do it. You have been completely doing it for 20 years. Why don't we just do it for 1 more day? You don't have to do anything. Put some silence and have the clarity that you are not going to do this and put some courage to it that I'm not going to do this just one more day. It's not going to be, you don't have to think too much what's going to happen in the future, what's going to happen to your surroundings and all that. Just happen for that one moment. Break it down and handle it for that one instance. What happens is every instant you postpone it, every instance you're adding to your courage, your baggage gets lighter. And instead of that additional imprint getting into the cart, it gets into your mind and body, and you get stronger and the cart gets lighter. Make sense, Sumaya?
Yes, it does. It makes a lot of sense, because I think that's what where a lot of people get hung up in changing habits, is because the mind it's like the mind resists change.
Absolutely. Thank you. Be blessed.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you, Samaya. That was a lovely question. And yes, I think Lux Narayanan, I've unmuted you. Please go ahead, sir.
Sure. Morning, everyone, Professor Karthik. How are you?
Very good.
Yeah, very wonderful depiction of the whole concept, and thanks for putting that together. It makes more sense. We can recall all our learnings throughout the initial part of the course. One of my question is, it's not a very easy concept or understanding for a normal person to realize whether you are a slave of your mind or master, right? I think definitely it'll be part of your spiritual journey, because I can really completely understand this before and after, before I start my journey in the sky yoga, and then before. I never thought about it. I was always thinking that it is a general human tendency. Whatever I'm doing on a day-to-day basis, it is just a general human tendency. But during the course, I realized, yes, there is a big concept about mind and how do we control. But in what part of the journey we really need to raise this? Hey, whether you are a master or slave to your mind. I think that's my question, because first of all, people need to know, we need to raise that question to ourselves in order to just get into this mode. That's my question. What part of our journey? Because I think in the foundation course, we learned something, but I think during the foundation course also, I didn't, realize it more, but only when I went into the certification, after learning a lot into detail, then only I realized. So is it more and more towards the journey we will get this thought, or we need to get deeper dive into it through this kind of a certification course with more theoretical knowledge and all the teachings of Maharishi? Then only we will get into this, because it's not a very easy question which will raise to anybody. Yeah,
I completely understand, and I will going to answer it in twofold. Right, first fold is for completely new beginners, right, and very practically. Right? You might not have framed this question in such a way. You might not have framed this question in this way, but you must have thought about what is mind the moment when you get into Vethathiriam, or even before that, when you think that your mind, you are not just one single entity. The moment you start breaking you into 2 entities or 3 entities or 4 entities, forget about 8, and each of these 8, there are life forces. You're talking about trillions of life forces, right? And you're talking about sense organs. There are 5 already. The body constitutes of complete, different, trillions of cells. So when you start dividing, you will get this first question, right? What is mind? And the moment you start about thinking about mind is when you have to start contemplating about all this. And why is it becoming difficult? Why framing that question is difficult is because the lack of further clarity. And for that, the second fold to your question is, definitely you will get more knowledge. You will accumulate more knowledge on gathering all this, or steering yourself to the right place by pursuing more into Vethathiri by pursuing more into your quest and breaking down on how to perform silence, how to be, how to bring clarity, how to put courage, all this by going to further introspections and certification courses, and then by practice. Right? So silence, clarity, and courage is a broader topic. That's how do you do silence? You have to do meditation. And there are different forms of meditation. You will only know when you get into introspections, further introspection levels 1, 2, and 3, and masters and Arunidhya course. And same thing with clarity, the introspection, how it happens, and courage is only by performance. So your journey will continue, and the question will get refined even further. Maybe even my question is very rude at this point. Is your master or servant? If you talk to Balachandra and I, he might have a completely reframe that question entirely. So the question will arise in a very crude form when you first know that you constitute more than just one entity. And it will get refined at every time you understand better and realize more about yourself. And Vethathiri, path of Vethathiri will definitely help you get your question refined better and get a much better answer. Thank you.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Professor Karthik.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Lux Narayan sir. So yes, Paul, just let me know. Yeah, Suresh Paulraj, yes, you have asked for a presentation. It is available on YouTube. So this is actually going live simultaneously. So you can get his recording in the YouTube as well. So you can get his presentation, entire thing from there. And Preeta Mohan, would you like to ask?
Yes.
Karthik,
Yes.
sir? Yeah.
Yes.
Please go ahead. Thank you.
Sir, வாழ்க வளமுடன் sir. Very beautiful presentation. This is Preeta Mohan. Actually, I was asking the question to Sunanda ma'am and Bala sir in the foundation course that how I don't know how I am going to making up my mind whether I can do all the exercise or not in the foundation. I joined the foundation level. So I got the perfect answer now from your presentation. So it's all our thoughts. And I don't know whether I can pose this question or it is related, but I'm asking it before you, sir. Sometimes whenever I am going into the crowd or whenever I'm suddenly some thoughts appears regarding some person. So is it my thought or somebody thinks about me? That's why the thought is coming. And another experience I see whenever I'm thinking of other person, they are getting in contact with me. Immediately they are calling me and say, I'm thinking about you. So these are thoughts, mind. Is it ours or we are getting connection from other people? I don't know whether it is connected to this topic or not. I'm just posting you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Be blessed. I'm very glad that you are in the journey.
Yes.
Be blessed to continue and be successful in your spiritual journey. To answer your question, you reached into a topic where the other functions of mind works, right? Sleep, dream, and prediction. And you're talking about prediction and something that's happening beyond your comprehension.
Yeah.
And it's okay. It's part and the function of the brain. So think about it. Like you have to go all the way back. And again, if we're getting into a little bit of advanced topic, don't be alarmed. Whenever you think that is happening, that's beyond your comprehension, it's nothing but it's biomagnetic wave is passing through you.
Mm-hmm.
So the same biomagnetic wave is passed through somebody else. And when the two waves meet, or two waves meet the same frequency, same operating frequency, your thoughts will happen. And remember, this 14 to 40 is not just these numbers, right? 14 to 40, there are decimal points, right? It's 14 point, and then you have a million decimal points happening after that, just like how the pi goes. If that frequency matches, the thought will rise. And it might not even happen now. It's already in your imprint. It might have happened years ago, or even your parents might have thought about in a particular frequency. And that frequency just clashes because you go into that particular place where a bell rings and there are so many components into it. If you tune to that particular frequency, that imprint gets expanded. So it's very, if you think about it, it's very simple. You're just tuned. Say, at this point, looking around you, can you see YouTube? Can you see a Facebook? Can you see a radio? Can you see an military communications?
Mm-hmm. No, sir.
No. But when you put a device, or can you see me
Yeah.
right now? Because you have a device tuned to listen to me. So if you have the right device, if you tune your mind to receive, you will receive it. You will receive a song. In Tamil, you will receive a song. In English, you will receive a song in Tulu. It's all there in the air. You just need to tune to that frequency. And it happens the other way too. You are tuned into the frequency and suddenly you start hearing this particular thought, which means that you're just tuned into that frequency.
Okay.
So what do you do at that stage? So now it's in tune. So now it's a better question, right? What do you do at that stage? Don't panic.
Okay.
You have to have a clarity that it's nothing, but you just tuned into that frequency. If that is pleasant, stay there. If it's not pleasant, snap out of it. Change your thought, change your place, change your surroundings. Until you get better at tuning yourself wherever you are, try to adjust your external parameters.
Thank you, sir.
Let's talk more about the six causes of thought too. So when there are 6 reasons why a thought rises. So go back to your introspection analysis of thought and understand those 6 reasons of thought and adjust what you can easily adjust.
I was about to ask how should I control, and you already gave me the answer, sir.
That's about it. Start with silence. Don't panic.
Okay.
Nothing is complicated. It's very simple. All you need to do is be silent, have the clarity, and have the courage.
Thank you so much, sir. Very clear explanation. So much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Professor Karthik. And that was Preeta Mohan, who just joined our foundation course, and she's in Connecticut in US. So Preeta, I think in fact you can connect with Professor Karthik, anytime.
That's my pleasure, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. That was really very clear explanation. And any more questions from others?
If there are no more questions, I would just like to add a couple of points.
Sure, yeah, sure.
One thing is I should be thankful to Karthik for a beautiful, simple explanation about a very difficult subject. And the way he was putting out that different images, that we are not seeing the different colors and a rectangle becoming a square, some magic he was doing. So that everything is Maya. Okay, now I believe that. It's all what your sensations, because of your past experiences, all these things are coming out. Very nicely explained. And people were asking about how to change habits. Okay, 20 years habit. And then he has given a very beautiful method calling silence, clarity, and courage. I'll just give an example because I am married 40 years. So I got some experience. Somebody is asking only 20 years of problem. So it's simple. When your wife gets annoyed or your husband gets annoyed, don't react as usual, as you've been doing for 20 years. Don't do that. Just be in silence. Don't practice silence for 3 months. No, that's not required. Silence for 1 minute at that time. Otherwise, your madness, you'll go to the same way you have been replying. And then we know what she's going to reply, what you're going to reply. All those things we know. Instead, be in silence for 1 minute. It will immediately change your frequency. From the beta 30-35, you'll come to 14-13. 1 minute of silence is enough. And then you get a clarity. After all, my husband or my wife, they are not my enemy. They are saying some point of view. Truth can be seen in different angles, different perspectives. Ours is not the only way to observe the truth. So then you will understand that, okay, you can maybe like to look at it from that perspective. There's a reason why that person is behaving like that. Okay, then you will understand better about that person and about yourself also. And then you will have the courage to change the way you have been behaving so far. Okay, that's it. No more diverse. Your children will enjoy. Thank you, sir. Be blessed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Balachandra sir. Thank you so much. So we will come to the end of the session, but please, can you all wait for some time? I would like to thank each one of you all for your valuable presence today, and thank you, Professor Karthik, once again. And there are a few announcements. Can you all check the chat, because we just shared the foundation course link. Those who have not, I'm sure you're all part of Sky Yoga. If you're not, you can join online, and you have a contact number there. You can contact the person. We'll be having a foundation course starting from Monday, July 1st. So we have every month 2 sessions, 12 days class. So every month, 1st to 12, one class. The second will be 16 to 27. So we have it in English, Tamil, Telugu, and Kannada. 4 different Zoom IDs. So we have in the morning 6 a.m. Indian Standard Time to 7:30, and followed by question session. And evening 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. So we have it for 12 days. Okay. So anyone willing to join, you can join, or you've already joined, you like to join again and experience this online class, you can. And you can contact the number, and you can even sponsor somebody. You can share this information with your relatives or friends, because Monday we are going to start a new class. So every month we have these 2 sessions. Okay. And this same ID, we have every morning 6 a.m. Indian Standard Time. We have a live group meditation followed by simplified Kundalini exercises. It will run up to 7:30. So this is all Indian Standard Time. Okay. And evening we have at 6:25 p.m. We have the evening Kayakalpa followed by group meditation. There's no exercise in the evening. So this we have it every day, the same Zoom ID. So you all can avail this class. And of course, you're all aware that every Saturday we have a special lecture. So we love to have each one of you. Thank you so much for being today patiently listening to Professor Karthik's lecture. We really enjoyed so much, sir, with the presentation. And this, you can see it in YouTube as well. So this will be recorded and it'll be there. So thank you for the lovely evening. You all can check your chat and take down the phone number, or any questions, you can just raise your hands now. If you're fine, we can end the class.
I was just thinking when Balaya said, be silent when your spouse, you have some arguments. I was thinking, then my spouse come and ask me, why are you silent? But I believe rather than
he will give you many tips.
Sure, absolutely.
Hey, all gents will have a separate meeting. Okay,
Yes.
Thank you.
Not
So,
fair, not fair.
we
We are here. Okay. We are also listening.
Oh, with the permission of our wives. Okay.
So we're all connected. So the frequency, we're all connected now. So
the three main secrets, right? Clarity, silence, and courage. First of all, you need to have the courage to be silent, like no matter what. And then especially with your spouse, it's not very easy because they are the easy targets. There's no questioning about it. You're still going to, she will still be kind enough to make the meals. She will still be kind enough to take care of the kids. She will still be kind enough to make your bed. But that's where you need to have even more courage to not to do something. Because the moment you move that one pawn, right? If you play chess, there are different openings, right? You play one pawn, you can easily see the end game. Right? They're going to play the knight, rook is going to come out, bishop is going to come out, the queen is going to come out, and king is gone. And you always know the end game. If you want to see something different, you need to start with silence. And the silence can only come with courage. And especially when the wife asks, why are you silent? You should have the courage. Be silent. And say, why are you not saying anything? Don't make your move. Change your course. Change your course.
Ask it.
So I think it's a better idea. Yeah, you should also make your wife part of Sky Yoga so that both of you are in constant silence. It'll be too much of
That
peace
Right.
at
has
home.
solved the problem already, but that's where the problem is.
Absolutely, absolutely. So thank you so much for this wonderful session. So again, I would like to each one of you to recommend your relatives or friends, because we never had an online session before. You know, you have to go physically to the center to take the classes. This is a beautiful opportunity. We are able to connect to any corner of the world. So I request each one of you to make use of this opportunity. Thank you so much once again. வாழ்க வளமுடன், be blessed by the divine. So we'll meet again next Saturday. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Be blessed by the divine.
Yes.
Walgo, be blessed by the divine.
And thank you, Sunandaji, for beautifully organizing the whole thing. Thanks to all the participants.